So it says, I'm sitting here recording this, thinking about what I've done for the past few hours, that I realize maybe when I'm doing game dev, as I go into Zecta's exquisite taste, random item stats. Oh, that's already bad. I think, don't we just die here? I guess we're gonna find out. We might do 2 runs this video as well, but yeah, let me make sure I got this before I move on. So let me see here. Exquisite taste, random item stats, but we have like 1 in every stat, so we just gotta go as we get into Zecta's exquisite taste, character exclusive random item custom character that has 1 in 3 stat, a 1 value in 3 stats, strength, dexterity, and charisma, on an old god that lowers your stats by 1 every 21% doom, which equals death pretty much in this game. Light, second encounter, dexterity, Takshisan, knowledge, and maybe charisma check. But what I was talking about before the timestamp is that I was thinking about what I've done for game development specifically, but just in general, kind of not laying out my life, but essentially trying to schedule things. So, and part of that is going into how a story, working through a story as you're making events in specifically RPG Maker, because that's the engine that I'm using to make my game. So games in this sense, plural, but I'm really only working on 2. I have 3 on the plate, but really 2, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do much. Ramen, Flood, Sailor. Actually, no, we have Teacher because there's no custom mystery here, so we have to replace it with something else. Right side first. So Shiba's, Madness, Teacher, Flood, Ramen. Well, I'm gonna take Madness first. I think this is the ghost encounter if I'm not mistaken, but we can't even use a Thotu Flame because we will die. So what I'm actually gonna do is we need a weapon. If you don't have a weapon, it's really bad. But we could just die to hunger right here, right now. But thankfully we didn't, and now we need to get a weapon. Any weapon, it'll do. So Meat Cleaver, and we move on with 1% Doom. That's kind of a plus side to a character that starts with Doom decrease. In this case, Expel Evil, because, well, Expel Evil essentially refunds you the tree shop strat, as I guess I'll just pseudo call it here. By the way, high threat level downtown, max threat level school, but we have Flood and other stuff. We have Shiba's as well. Funny enough, I'm gonna put this downtown. We're on Zectas. You should really put it on a max threat level location, but we'll move on. But what I want to talk about is essentially specifically dialogue, inserting dialogue in a video game, especially as you're developing it. What I mean by that is, you might have heard me talk about this before, but essentially making text fit in your dialogue box. For example, just even this box right here that World of Horror uses. I'm sure it tries to read the pixel width of the whole box and then word wraps automatically, but you can, if you're creating custom content, you can add in the line breaks yourself, but things like that is what I'm trying to say. Now, in some game engines like RPG Maker, that's taken care of for you, or you could, like you're making custom events in World of Horror, you can control that yourself. Are we going to be okay here, by the way? No, the answer is no. But I can't run because we die even quicker that way, so, yeah, this is a really bad run. We'll do our best. I think we just take this in the face here. The boss here is, thankfully, for better or worse, stamina damage, so I guess we're taking Flood next. All things considered, this can be a very low doom run. My problem is surviving the encounters we run into. 50-50. 50-50? Okay, good. But yeah, trying to fit in dialogue in the dialogue boxes. And essentially, the other part I wanted to kind of touch on while I'm talking about this, nice 8 roll, by the way, game, is basically the limitations of dialogue boxes in the flow of a game. Again, what I mean by that is that because you're limited to so many characters, essentially, in a dialogue box, for those who don't know, basically characters each letter in this case, but basically fitting in enough words and not trying to overload a dialogue box so that it aesthetically looks nice. That's something I try to pay attention to as I've worked through my own content in World of Horror, but I think you understand what I'm trying to get at here. It's a matter of not wasting too much of the character's time. And again, like I said, it's actually a good thing because it means that you're not usually trying to info dump on the player, and therefore you're using the smaller space to make things more concise. Now, at a certain point, you can maybe allow the player to get info dumped in other places, but essentially if you're going through like an important scene in an RPG, if you're going through maybe just listening to a scene in the case of audio in a more action-based game, then you only have so much time in those cases to let the player know of what's going on. And I think, again, the limitation of time, or in my case, the amount of words you can have on screen, is good for keeping things concise and helps control, at least I think most of the time, the quality of information coming to the player, whether that's characterization, whether that's plot, whether that is clues in the case of maybe a mystery game, so on and so forth. By the way, we do 5 damage each. The problem is that we are not guaranteed to hit either of these, so 50-50 again. We could, yeah. We were going to miss one of those, but we just need our reason to stay high. We will cast a Go-To Flame if need be, but it's really hard to do that when 21% Doom will cause this run to fail immediately. But we'll try our best. So yeah. And at some point I was going to get Zektas, so I can't even say something along the lines of, hey, hope that you don't get Zektas when you're rolling quick play, but obviously you could choose not to randomly roll an old god, but hey, because you're not always guaranteed on a what am I trying to say here? On a run where you are, I'm trying to focus on not dying as well. We're just gonna be resting here, but on a run where you don't end up buying weapon as I have, even risking the curses that could kill you too with the character that is 1 charisma with hunger, or anything else, maybe if perception was 1 instead, you get the point. You're taking a risk either way. So at least I try to think of the possibilities of what could happen. Here on the other hand though, yeah, we just have to go for this, and I think we just take this damage in the face, left, right, and center. We'll throw this Kendall helmet as much as matters, but I think we even just want to be trading stamina right now. But if nothing else, it's interesting to see how far you can go on a run like this, where essentially you're at a disadvantage. I was going to say the odds are stacked against you, but really it's disadvantages. Again, just really for anyone who just wants to get the long story short, if you're a character, if you're playing a character that starts with 1 in any stat, just 1 stat, Zektas is going to give you a hard time, or it's going to be a test of your knowledge of the mysteries and events that you run into. But, can we do this? We have to gamble. I don't want to gamble. I don't even want to gamble that. Well, yeah, we're just gonna toss out 1 more prep strong and then desperate our way out. So, yeah, the topic of just dialogue, because I'm going through... Oh my goodness, that didn't get me out. Well, I'm going through basically making the events for my game and making characters talk in between or do things in between. So, trying to keep those concise. And very frequently, whether it's a game I made long ago up till now, I still look at a scene and basically ask, can I cut 1 line of dialogue? Can I cut a word out of a dialogue of a character speaking here and there? Because if you can do that, you make things a little bit more... I like trying to keep things concise. At times I find myself rambling on and on, so I usually really do try to make it so that the player is not having their time wasted. Now, what's unfortunate is that we got the 2 perks that happen to boost the stats that I have the most of. I don't even want to reroll here, but we might have to. Yeah, this is really unfortunate. We just happen to get 2 perks that we already have enough of, well, while we need to increase our other stats. I don't even want to reroll. It might be worth it, but I don't think it is. To try and get, say, quick thinking or leadership, but there's a very high chance we die here, basically. We could go through the game. We could go through this mystery without running into anything. We'd have to really start rolling because we can't take Doom anymore. But, ow, my finger. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we just end up dying here. So let's see. Yeah, let's actually see what happens. I'm just gonna roll the dice here. 95, 85, 50, 50. Okay, well, we're not dead yet. This should get us out. Can I even do this? No, I can't, because this character has 1 strength. We can, with 3 attack boosts, but that's not true against all enemies. But we'll try our best, because we can't run. If we run, our Doom shoots up, and we have a very high chance of dying. That's all I have to say. Now, that being said, I just realized we're in teacher as well, so I don't think even... Yeah, I don't even think Ito to Flame gets us out, because we're just going to take a bunch of Doom. I just realized, yeah, as I took teacher here, we're going to die to Doom, because the school is going to do Doom damage, and we're going to lose every single stat. So even... Yeah, I mean, we already die right here anyway. We're forced to do this, so... we're doing another run. We're doing another run. I don't want to do a Zektas run. I think Zektas, you pretty much have like an 80% chance of dying with that character. Just straight up. So instead we'll do Cthulhu 7th Curse and be in a very happier place. But anywho. Let's see. 7th Curse, and we will move on with our lives. So, as we get into Cthulhu 7th Curse character exclusive custom character once more. Hopefully things start going normal. I realized just really quickly, if anyone's curious about my health, second, knowledge, charisma, light, Takshisan maybe, but really just gonna take 2 reason damage unless we just die to 0 static, in which case this video ends. But until that happens, yeah, I'm gonna be visiting the doctor quite soon again because, well, my health. But it's more like a follow-up, but it's not really because we're still trying to figure out what exactly is wrong with me. We have a pretty good idea, and by we I mean I think the doctor that was in charge of me, but we'll see what actually happens. Metamorphosis, Flood, Footage, Labyrinth, Torture. I'll at least say it right now. I feel like I'm doing a lot better right now, but I don't know if that's just placebo, so we'll find out. Footage, Flood, Metamorphosis. So Metamorphosis, Flood, and Television is what my planned path. I would like to take Footage first. Labyrinth is also... Actually, Labyrinth is going to be painful as well. All of these are going to hurt. Metamorphosis and Labyrinth are going to hurt very hard. So really, it's a decision between Torture and Flood. And if we take Flood, we don't have a weapon. So I guess we're taking Torture first. So, let's move on with our lives and do our best. So, we're hoping we get the Army Knife. That's really the only thing we can use out of what I picked. I could have picked the... I should maybe start considering picking a Cult Shot, but this is already the second video, so I've already made my decision. But as we take some knowledge checks and lose reason for it, hey! Fun! Yes, I did. I think I'm saying, when I say fun, I really pull that from Dwarf Fortress. And if you don't know what that is, it is a free game. There is, and you might, at this point you might be wondering, well, Jordan, I thought you have to pay to play that game. No, that version of the game is a graphically touched up version, I think with some changes in between. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I played. But normally I play the vanilla Dwarf Fortress and just mod in, you know, if I want more graphics, I mod in graphics, so, and other stuff. Because I think I used the quick launcher at that time. And if all of this is not okay, let me know for some reason, because that would be weird. I thought it would be, but anywho. Yeah, and that's why I go fun at times. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I just say that myself. But anywho, we'll keep moving on. And the only other thing I need to say is, yeah, oh, hold on. Let me just do this for a moment. We don't have any fun, so it's like, bleh. But... thankfully, I mean, we could go for this. It'd be interesting. I guess we could. So, 50%? 50-50 again? We missed the 90 and hit the 60%. Why? Why? But anywho. What I wanted to say is that, yeah, I'm focusing on character events because I don't usually just focus on one. I mean, I do, but when I've had enough, say, of making animations during battle in RPG Maker for the characters that I'm making, in one game, I move on not to another game, but to another aspect. In this case, going through and making character events really shortly. Again, and this is all really just the beginning of stuff. The third game is really going to be the thing. I think the third game I said is the one that is supposed to be just completely, mostly graphics that I make myself. So we'll see. I just realized I don't have any dexterity, so yeah, I shouldn't have done that one. I mean, we didn't have any strength either, but we're taking all damage now. So, we're gonna do this and option select the handcuffs. Now, we hit 3. If we hit 4, we would have been a lot better, but... can we do anything better? No, we can't, can we? Well, kind of. I'm still gonna option select the handcuffs. And yeah, if we hit all 3 of those attacks, we would have been able to save the handcuffs, but... I wanted to save HP somewhere. We were taking all damage, so... Hey, yeah, we're gonna take Strength here. It's kind of unfortunate. Quick Thinking is... I mean, my weird collection can be a big RNG fest, but I don't really want to do that, so... Anywho. I think I was supposed to take Labyrinth next, but either way, we're in pain. No, we're taking Labyrinth after Metamorphosis here, so let's see what happens. Because, yeah, we're forced to just eat this damage in the face. A lot of all damage enemies. And again, in general, this character is kind of at a disadvantage, as funny as that sounds to say. You can get lucky, so you say you pick up the small candle, and then you get a damage boost. This character is amazing. If you pick My Weird Collection and you get you get even just 2 Occult Diaries, that's amazing. If you pick up the Army Knife on a random item run and it's, 78 speed, you get to brace with a point in strength, I think. But you get the point. I was supposed to switch to the mansion, never mind. I guess we're just going to head forward. And then Expel Evil always helps, but in general, again, without a weapon, that begs the question of where you're going to get a weapon. Because without a weapon, you can't even brace into a kick with this character, so if we're looking at things you can do in gameplay, that's just the truth. But there are quite a lot of knowledge and perception choices that lower Doom or give you a lot more experience than normal. It's just strength being as low as it is does not lend itself well to a lot of happy memories, for me anyway. On top of that, the Zektas absolutely blows you out of the water, because even just having one stat at 1 is an upward battle, but more than that is even more painful. So I think at this point we could throw the Stalker's Mask as an option select here. Maybe if we don't hit this 90%. Okay, good. Because I think... No, it wouldn't have helped me. I just realized. Never mind. Well, hey. 90% though, so you shouldn't feel bad about gambling on that. At least I feel that way, but you never know, right? You could just miss and I think we would have died there, actually. But anywho, thankfully we didn't. Flood... Labyrinth. Yeah, so we take Labyrinth. We'll take Flood after. We're gonna eat a lot of Reason damage, but we at least start with the Dotoo Flame. And the Dotoo Flame is an interesting one. It just doesn't help in the bad cases, if that makes any sense to say. By this I mean Zektas, because in Zektas you don't want Doom to increase, but at Dotoo Flame increases your Doom when you use it. And so at this point, you could be saying something along the lines of, well, Jordan, if you don't have a weapon, you can use a Dotoo Flame. The number trade-off on a Dotoo Flame is actually it's actually bad, but because it costs a lot of Doom to use, you can't use it as much as you think. Now, you can still use it, and that's a positive going for it, but again, on a Zektas run, on a run with no weapons, if you just try to solely use the Dotoo Flame, it's doable. It's just not probable, in my opinion at least. And if you get really unlucky, like, it doesn't matter anyway, because you're just taking damage from events, and so you don't have the stamina or reason to use a Dotoo Flame anyway. But you know. And if you don't know, essentially, it's really painful. In fact, I'm even going to go the whole way and just increase my Charisma by 1 as well, because you never know if we're going to get Hunger. So yeah. But anywho, as we actually fight this, I mean, this is an encounter in which you would probably want to use a Dotoo Flame. The problem is we only have 2 stamina, so... And some people might notice that this encounter has a bit more HP than normal. Doesn't really matter, because this encounter could have 35 HP and we'd still be struggling here, so... we are still going to use a Dotoo Flame once, because it's not like we can brace into anything substantial. And after that, I think we just die anyway. So, we're going to use the library notes once, just to see. And yeah, we're going to have to just do this, because without it, we will die. I think we just tank this in the face, right? If I just want to be really, really safe. I could opt to do this. We're going to hit at least 2 of these, and if we do, that's cool. If we hit 3, we're out. And we're out, so yeah. That was really, really... This is what I mean by, yeah, there's a lot of RNG involved. Maybe less than a lot, but still more than you would want to do, I think. Or most people would want to do, but hey. So into Flood we go, so we can heal. We have a Soul and Joint, but we weren't really planning to run anyway. That being said, our Doom management is quite good. Again, Expel Evil on top of what happens during Mysteries and a lot of Knowledge Perception checks increase Doom when failed. At least while I see it. So it is quite nice, but that doesn't let you, again, having lower stats and everything else means your stamina and reason is probably going to be a bit lower. Of course I miss an 81%. I mean, we were going to miss something eventually. I just didn't want it to be there. But let's hope, because we're forced into doing an investigation until we can rest. And yeah, lo and behold. So I think we're out here anyway. Yeah, 5 power. We should be able to hit this both times. We're even going to humor it and add a 3rd attack, but we get 20 damage guaranteed. And yeah, we need a rest. Theologist is in the forest. We're going to have to go. We're going to keep ourselves at 3 stamina and hope nothing bad happens. But once we grab the Theologist, we're out of here, by the way. Yeah, well, there's brain damage, but thankfully didn't need the knowledge at the moment. And away we go on resting. Basically, I'm fighting for my life even in this run. Even though, yes, it's like, well, Jordan, you're at 46% Doom on your 4th mystery. This boss is about to slap us for 4 reasons, by the way. Or 3 reasons, sorry. Which is still a lot. And we can't brace comfortably, so we are just taking 3 reasons to the face, back to back to back. Now, we could do that. That's interesting. I guess we're going to do it once. Hopefully hit 3 out of 4. And yeah, that makes me a lot happier. I think we can even do prep attack, prep strong. Yeah, we can. So we'll do prep attack, the weaker one on enemy B, and then we do strong. Now we are taking a bunch of... Damn, we could use a Thotu Flame here, actually. Yeah, you know what? We'll use the Thotu Flame here once or twice. It's well worth the cost of reason slapping me. And we could go for another gamble. Do I want to? I'm going to go for it. So, do we want to do that? Or I think we'd rather do 3 attacks raw. Because there's a higher chance we get 2 out of 3 of these than going for a little bit higher percent. I'm just going to do it. Let's see what happens. I can do this. Never mind, we missed every single attack. Okay, we're using a Thotu Flame then. Are we? No, wait, we're on Desperate Struggle range. Let's do that instead. What were my odds there again? 80%, 60, 60, 60? Now I'm curious. I'm going to pull up a calculator really quickly. Don't we? Okay, please tell me we don't die. I would like to. I mean, I was going to. I control when the video ends, so we're going to let this go, and off we go. By the way, road's closed, but we're on our last mystery with 50%, 56% Doom. Basically, if we make it to the lighthouse, we should be good, but, you know. So into footage we go. We're stuck in a forest, but hey. We could have also leveled up earlier, but it's not going to help me much either, so we're going to grab Morbid Inspiration. And another point in strength. So, let me just calculate this. So, 80, we have to hit 20% into 40, into 40, into 40. There is a 1.28% chance of what happened happening. And if I'm wrong, I mean, it's close enough to like 3%. So, hey. But off we go. If we get out of funds, we'll trade off stamina. We could trade off Doom as well. Or not. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, the game buffers your clicks. No. Well, hey. Actually, I should have traded off Doom instead, but hey. I did forget my second encounter regardless, so boof. But into this forest we go. Keep in mind, roads are closed here, so we're taking extra Doom, I'm pretty sure. But can we finally brace into... I think we can attack, right? Yeah, thankfully we can. It's not the greatest, but 2 stamina damage throughout the whole encounter. We're just going to have to take it. So, we can even do this just for 25 damage. 27 on, I think that was bonus damage, but you get the point. We're doing our best. And we have Book of Gore as a safeguard, so... Hey, that decreases Doom. Did that decrease Doom? That looked like a decreased Doom, and anywho. Trade off Doom. Because even though we have Book of Gore, I would like to not get a broken jaw immediately and not heal. Keeping in mind, yeah, Cthulhu, so anytime we lose reason, Doom is increasing at a ratio. But, still, we should be relatively fine still. Or tell me we're going to be fine here. We could be stuck. If we're stuck in this forest the whole time, we could end up dying. That's interesting, but we'll keep that for later. We could actually die here still, I just realized, but... We'll do our best. Yeah, we'll do our best. Oh, please. Get me out of here! Please! Okay, maybe we die here. So, let's find out. Was that because of Colt? Right. Nope, 7th curse. Why did our Doom decrease? Anywho. Hopefully we're okay. If we fail the second encounter check, we could still be okay. Actually, no, we lose reason. We're losing a lot of reason, so our doom's gonna increase. Well, here's hoping I remember. Oh my goodness. We're just gonna walk up. We have Book of Gore. We have Book of Gore. I don't think anything we can grab here is gonna help, so yeah. So we took... I don't remember. I think we took Labyrinth second? Nope. Okay, we die. Good. I mean, we were probably... no, I mean, if we gotten both checks correct, we would have survived, I think. But I did my best. Human error. I'll take the spiritual victory, but we did lose here. If it wasn't Labyrinth, then it must have been television? But I don't remember who it would have been then. So yeah, I'm just going to pick one here, and I guess we'll die. My brain absolutely went. But essentially, it was entirely possible to survive this run. I just did what I did. And I guess I will see you in the next video when we do want to work on a new character, because Cthulhu's going to pop us out of existence.